Confucius. Long ago, in the Chinese kingdom of Lu, a baby was born, known as Confucius. He was born at a time when all of China was experiencing great troubles. China, an enormous country, that means very large, was divided into small areas ruled by many different leaders. None of the leaders agreed with one another. Instead of listening to each other, they formed large armies and fought long, tiresome wars against one another. Robbers rode through the country, hurting other people, and greedy leaders wanted to conquer all of China for their own selfish reasons. They did not care about the ordinary people who never had enough to eat and lived their lives in fear for their own safety. Confucius was born to a poor family more than 2,000 years ago. His father died when he was very young, but his mother believed that education was very important and made sure that he was able to learn from many wise teachers in his village. Education just means learning and going to school. Confucius also taught himself many subjects. He was happiest when he was studying history, learning about the ways that people lived long before he was even born. He learned that China had not always been so divided with so many problems. It was once a peaceful, united country ruled by wise sages. Sages are people who are known to have a lot of information and be really smart. Confucius began to dream about a time in a future when people could live in a peaceful land led by wise rulers. He wanted to spread the word that it was possible to live without war or confusion. He wanted to give people hope for a better tomorrow. Confucius decided to spend his life teaching others and showing them to live in a more peaceful way. He began trying to convince Chinese leaders of his ideas, but they were not interested. Although Chinese leaders refused to listen to him, other people wanted to hear what he had to say. They were eager to hear what he had to say. That means they were very excited about something and interested in it. As he taught his students how to build a peaceful country, Confucius would often begin his lessons by asking them to start with their own families. Do you fight amongst yourselves? He asked them. Do you argue with your parents or steal from your brothers and sisters? Confucius told them that if people could not get along in small groups, they couldn't expect their leaders to control the behavior of the whole city or town. Respect your parents, Confucius taught. Obey them and take care of them as they take care of you. If you practice kindness in your family, then it will be easier for you to practice kindness in your community. And kindness will spread to all people in all parts of the land. Confucius's students would often ask him, how should we treat one another? His answer was always the same. Never do unto others what you would not like them to do to you. Have you ever heard that before, those words? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Many groups of people have been saying similar things. This particular saying is called the Golden Rule because it is believed to be very important for people to follow this as a rule. Confucius believed in the Golden Rule, and he felt that if people always treated one another with kindness, the world would be a better place. He also believed that if leaders were able to stop wars, feed the hungry, and make sure that people were safe in their cities and towns, everyone would live in a happier world. These were just a few of the ideas Confucius shared with others. Confucius also believed that education, remember, education means learning, was very important, and he tried to share this belief with many people. Confucius thought that it was necessary to continuously study and learn new things in order to become a wise person. In ancient China, as in many countries long ago, only people with money were allowed to go to school. Can you believe that? You would have to be rich and have a lot of money just in order to be able to learn new things and go to school. Confucius thought that this was wrong, that it was not fair. He believed that all people, rich and poor people, should have an equal opportunity to learn. Learning never stops, according to the teachings of Confucius. A wise person learns from others in school and outside of school. Confucius meant that although you might learn important things in school, you can also learn a lot about how to behave towards other people outside of school. Have you ever heard of learning by example? If your teacher shouted all day long, then that example might be that you should shout also. So you might begin to shout all day long too, but if your teacher speaks politely and treats you kindly, then you might be likely to treat other people kindly and also speak politely. Confucius had many devoted students. After he died, some students thought that his ideas were so important that they wrote them down in a book called the Analects. Schools were even created to teach the sayings of Confucius. He became very well known for all of his teachings and leading by example.